let's see if that works. Can you hear me now? Okay, let's continue. You should be able to hear me now. Tell me if you can't. But we're talking about being an immigrant and being confident today. What do the two things have to do together? I want to talk about that because for me, being an immigrant and coming from a very small country to a bigger country, like a lot of us do, you know, I think like the the problems were different and the thinking was different. And having come in as a professional, it could have either made me or broken me because I could have been like, oh my goodness, I did everything like that back home. Now I don't want to start from the bottom again. Like I don't want to do certain things. I could have said all of these things, and then I wouldn't have enjoyed just the kind of success and getting to speak to the kinds of people that I have. And so we want to talk about that today. But before I do that, I have to do a little segue, okay? And I need your advice on something. How do you deal? Being in this space, obviously, I go live a lot on Instagram and on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You see my videos popping up a lot. And I never speak to my haters. Do you realize that? I always come on with the best of intentions, with a big smile, and it's something that I teach in my Speak with Confidence program, that you never speak to the haters. You always speak to the thirsty person, to speak to the person who wants to hear what you have to say. Do you guys remember? If you've done Speak with Confidence, drop a yes in the chat. Let me know that you're here. But here's the thing. The reason that I do that is because I understand that speaking, like everything else, is an energy. If I come with the understanding and the awareness and the regard for those people who don't want to hear what I have to say, I'm going to be negative. I'm going to show up with an edge to me, with a streak that those people who want to hear what I have to say would be like, why are you coming across like that? So can you guys hear me now? I sure hope you can. Let's see if you can. Let me just go log on to Facebook or something and see if people can hear me here, right? So I'm perfectly aware of that, you guys. And so because of that, it's not that I'm clueless to the fact that I have detractors, right? I just don't give them any regard because I have this thing in my mind that, the best revenge you can ever have on anybody is to take very good care of yourself and to not pay the haters the attention that they want. But I was speaking to a friend recently, and she was talking about a mutual acquaintance who was asking about me in very negative terms and saying all sorts of things. And I said to myself, when you hear stuff like that, do you respond to it? What do you do when you hear that people have said stuff and it's unfair and we all will go through all of those things? Do you ever retaliate, react? Like, what do you do is what I want to know. Because for me, I'm like, I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to take it on. But the fact is, if you don't say anything, does that mean that it just simply just keeps on going? So here's my thing. I'm not a fighter, but I have this thing about, if you want to fight and you come on my patch, you're going to get it. I think that's fair. Okay. I always go back. So I literally, like, my mind is very important. I don't like to fill my mind with like talking about people. I'm not the person who'll do the back channeling. I'm not the person you'll find sliding into people's DMs with photos laughing at people. I just don't do that, except perhaps the Trump mugshot. I don't like that one. I had a good laugh at that. Okay. But that's like, I mean, that's like everywhere. But I'm not the kind of person who does that kind of thing. I don't know about you. Like, how do you react to the haters in your life? Because every single person has haters. And how you know you're doing great things is the bigger you get, is the more haters you have. So I always tell, especially my clients who are like pretty high end and so on, I always say to them, you do not throw stones at an empty mango tree. You just don't. It's because you're bearing fruit that somebody wants to take shots at you. So, in a sense, it's almost an indication for you, right? Thanks, Elsa. It's almost an indication for you that you are growing and you are doing something good when people start to give you that kind of attention. So that's it for me. But there's a point at which I realize you have to pay attention when people consistently take the shots. Don't you think so? Let me give you an example. So, I'm from a small island in St. Lucia, and when I first came, I studied in Trinidad, in another Caribbean island. And when I came back from doing my studies, I just get very immersed in whatever culture I get into. So I was very much immersed in Trinidadian culture, especially the art scene and so on. So I came back home a little strange in terms of like dressing with the just kind of very bohemian, you guys. And there's still that element to me too, right? Very bohemian and didn't quite fit in to my very straight laced, I think, at the time, anyways. It's not the same anymore, thank God. St. Lucian Society. On top of that, when I came back home, I literally moved to the countryside where my grandparents were, which is even more closed, even more unexposed to the world. And there I was, this stick in the mud, dressing, going down the road from my grandparents' house and just looking strange and all of that. And there was this guy, I'll never forget. There was this guy who made it his duty when I was taking the bus on a morning to get to the capital of the city, Castries. He would make it his duty to follow me and to just tease me, talk about my clothes, just tease me no end just because he thought that I was strange. Hey, Leonis, hi. He just thought I was strange. And his way of dealing with my strangeness and foreignness was to try to bully me. So it went on for some time. Anywho, and this is why I'm bringing this up because I'm trying to decide what is a very good response when people take shots at you, because they are going to. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face because I'm trying not to make it bother me. But and in the big scheme of things, I'm still here to talk about confidence as an immigrant. That's what we're going to talk about. But here's the story. Anywho, one day, it was just the wrong day, or maybe it was the right day. Friend decided to tease me. I was going to the bus, and this is what I did, right? This is a guy. I was a female. I was like, what, 21, 22, thereabout. Okay. Very slight, much more slender, and all of that. And what I did, I just simply turned on him. You know what it is to know somebody stronger than you, but to not care? I simply turned around and I walked up into his face. And do you know what happened? The big bully that he was, because of the force and I guess, the violence with which I came, he began to back away. He began to back away. He turned around and he went his way. Not a peep from him ever again. No sound here as well. Still no sound on Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna stop this live and just do it on Instagram. Let me just do Instagram and see what happens. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll come off